Breaking news today as the Gators land another commitment, and this one is big, literally. UF landed Mike Williams. Mike is huge. He is a 3-star offensive lineman. He is 6'7", 315 pounds. He's an offensive tackle from Maryland. He decommitted from South Carolina at the end of May, and he took an official visit to UF the second weekend in June. Williams is from Baltimore, Maryland. He is the 104th offensive tackle and the 35th overall prospect in the state of Maryland for the class of 2024, according to 247 Sports Composite Rankings. This is huge, right? First of all, the Gators were able to go into Maryland, pull a guy out of there. That's not a place that we generally get recruits from. Also, he was committed to South Carolina. I think Florida targeted him. They started talking to him more regularly. They were able to convince him that Florida might be a place he'd really want to go. He decommitted from South Carolina, came to Gainesville, clearly liked what he saw. But listen, both of Williams' parents currently live in Orlando. So even though he is in Maryland right now, I think it makes total sense that he would jump at the chance to play his college ball close to his parents, right? So while he's not a Florida boy, he has really strong ties to the state. He also has offers reportedly from, obviously, South Carolina, where he was committed, Miami, Southern Cal, Michigan State, Tennessee, West Virginia, and a whole bunch of others. So he was a really highly sought after offensive lineman. So don't let that 3-star fool you. This is a guy that a lot of programs all over the country wanted to come play for him. I spoke to a couple different people who saw Williams on his official visit, including Keith Niebuhr of On3, who said Williams looked much bigger in person than that 6'7", 315. I'm not really 100% sure how you even could look bigger than that, because that is huge. But I know that coaches are really excited about that frame because there's plenty of room to even add additional weight. And I know that Florida is drooling over the concept of getting him into the weight program, into the sports nutrition program, to see what they can do with that frame, because guys, that's huge. We talk about this all the time on the show. You can't teach size. You can't. 6'7", 315 pounds at like 17 years old. Are you kidding? And another thing that we talk about on this show pretty regularly is that offensive line is one of the very hardest positions to recruit. And that has to do with the fact that a lot of high schools don't actually teach a lot of technique to their players. They just kind of put the biggest kids on the line at a lot of places. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some high schools really developing offensive line talent, but in general, it's kind of a plug and play position. Hey, you're the biggest guy that's come out. Great, you're going to play offensive line for me. So recruiting offensive line is always a total crapshoot because it's hard to tell what you're getting outside of that size. And, like we talked about, you can't teach size, but you don't know what you're going to get with that player once you get them into the program. Are they coachable, teachable? Do they have a high football IQ? Those are things that are a lot harder to know in high school for an offensive lineman than they are for, say, a safety or quarterback. So I really think that even though Williams may be a project, that's something Keith Niebuhr alluded to when I talked to him about him over the weekend, that's okay. Florida needs depth pieces, especially at offensive line. Florida is always going to need and recruit offensive linemen every single year. And listen, who knows what he's going to turn into once he gets onto campus and gets coached up, right? I think that this is a huge pickup for UF in a high position of need. And it's also another example of UF deciding what they want, who they want, and moving really quickly to close on him. I think that UF having 2 offensive line coaches was a great selling point here. Williams has raved publicly about Darnell Stapleton and Rob Sale. I've heard that William really, really, really likes their plan for his personal development and that their personalities really just clicked well together over this weekend as well. They're 2 really good, really genuine coaches that he has a great relationship with, and he can see himself playing for them. And this is also Florida's first offensive line commitment of 2024. It's huge. It's a big, pickup for Florida, like I said, at a major position of need. I know that Gator fans have been waiting with bated breath to see what kind of recruits or what kind of commitments are going to come out of these last couple of recruiting weekends. And there's another big recruiting weekend coming up in 5 days from here as well. Gators should be excited about this. I know that more commitments are coming. We've heard that there are a lot of guys that are close to pulling the trigger. I think nobody needs to panic. Florida is doing a great job. This coaching staff is really putting on weekends that are impressing recruits. They're impressing their families. They're making good impressions on them. All of this hard work is going to pay off in a few weeks, and it's going to pay off on National Signing Day. So everybody just needs to be patient, hold on, not freak out. The Gators are going to have a great class. This was a huge pickup for the Gators, like I said, in a position of need. And there are more good news from June visits on the way. So make sure that you are locked in with this channel and don't miss any of the updates that are going to be coming. If you enjoyed watching his highlights courtesy of huddle.com, stay tuned and you can check out a few more. Again, Mike Williams from Maryland, offensive lineman. He is a Gator. It's a great day to be a Florida Gator. If you're new to the channel or you haven't seen us in a minute, click right here to watch a video that YouTube thinks you should watch.